He was so cute. I mean, do you know puppies? Is there anything cuter in the world than puppies besides actual human beings? And then sometimes puppies are even cuter than them. Let's be honest, right? Sometimes you think your puppy is cuter than your baby. It's just because they're a little bit less maintenance. Okay, so puppy, it's cute. I love this dog. And we knew he was going to get big. And I was in the room when Stovall was asking the breeder about the dog, and he was saying, I want your alpha male, most aggressive alpha male of the whole pack. I want the one that is beating up the other dogs. This is the dog I want. And I was like, I was young. I was like 26. I was like, I don't know. Maybe that's not a good, maybe we shouldn't say it. Maybe we should get the alpha male. Maybe not. At this point, I didn't know him well enough to understand that his tendency is to go all the way over here. And my best role in life is to go, let's pull back just a little bit. It's good. Alpha male, good. Most aggressive alpha male, maybe not. So that's where we were. I'm just trying to learn about, using my words and timing, grace, and truth in my marriage. And I just let him go on with it. So when Hector was little, we used to let him get on the furniture. We thought it was super cute to wrap him in little blankets and put him in the bed with us. When you don't have kids, you think that's cute to do that with your dog. Kind of staves off the baby craving for a little while. And so we thought it was real cute to wrap him in little blankets and put him in the bed with us and let him fall asleep like that. We would carry him to his kennel, and then he would cry in the night. We'd go get him and put him in our room, And we would, when we were watching TV, we would let Hector on the bed with us, and that was so cute when he was about 15 pounds. But then, in a small, short span of time, he quickly grew to be 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 90 pounds. Okay. The dog was not so cute wrapped in blankets when it was 90 pounds. It was gross, to be honest with you. That's when I said this dog needs to be neutered. He can't sleep in our bed 90 pounds and not neutered. It's too invasive. I just can't. This is enough. So, what was so cute when he was little bitty, it stopped being cute when he got big because it got out of control. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this dog, if we left, one time a friend of ours was passing through town. He spent the night at our house. He happened to leave his bag of disposable razors out on the table. Hector ate the bag of razors. Did not even faze that dog. Chewed it up, just ate it. Every night before we went to bed, we had to take little chairs and furniture and put it on top of the sofa so he wouldn't get on it. You had to take all the bread and put it on top of the freezer. You could leave no food anywhere accessible to him. He got so tall that he could unlatch the doors with his nose. And so we could shut the doors, and then he learned to open them. But the thing that happened is when he was a puppy, the things that were so cute, because he was so cute, we didn't set boundaries around him. And then when he got older, he became a beast that we couldn't tame. We couldn't reverse the things that we had instilled in him and allowed him to do. It's like in his mind, even though we now had 2 children and a third on the way, and it's been 7 years since we let him in the bed, and he's, now he sleeps in his kennel. He never, in his mind, he belonged in the bed. He belonged in the furniture. He should be eating food off of the table because we never set boundaries around him at the appropriate time in his life. And in the end, Hector had to end up going to another home in the country with lots of children to play with, and really went to a home in the country. That's not a euphemism for putting him down, okay? We really literally sent him to a home in the country. That's not just what I tell my kids, He literally went to a home in the country. So he was good. He's probably in heaven now. But anyway, if we don't learn to set boundaries around our tongues, things that used to seem harmless and maybe even a little cute, a little sarcasm here, a little snide comment there, little snarkiness over here, just bringing this person into your inner circle by sharing just a little nugget of gossip over here. There's times when those things might not be so harmful, but if we don't learn how to set boundaries around our words, then in moments of crisis, when we need to be careful about what we say, when we need to know what that is true needs to be said, when we need to know how to not pick out the faults in people, we won't have set the boundaries. And what was once cute can become deadly. I had to get rid of Hector because I was having 3 kids and I couldn't watch him. And there were times that he growled at my children and started to snap at them. And a 120-pound dog and a 3-year-old, Sylvie was 3. There were times I found him in the living room on Hector's back holding his ears. Hector was being good, but he was looking up at me like, get this kid off of my back. You have about 3 seconds. And I thought, you know what? I can't put my children in danger like that. It's just gotten to the point where I have to make a choice here. What was cute became dangerous in our lives. And the same thing can happen with our words. You know, it's called growing up. It's called becoming mature. It's one thing for my 15-year-old daughter to say some things. It's another thing for me to say them. And part of accepting the responsibility of growing up is learning what should come out of your mouth as a woman of God, what is becoming as a woman of God, what elevates you as a woman of God, what calls forth respect and dignity to you, what places respect and value and dignity on others, part of growing up. And you know, I was slow to learn some of those things in my own life, but we don't have to be slow to learn them. And so I'm just going to fill in a couple of blanks because I know I'm now getting low on time because I haven't seen you all in so long, so I'm chatty. But let's talk about complaining, because one of the things that we can do is we need to know how to, I think we need to learn how to complain. Not in a bad way, because the truth is we're going to have things we need to complain about in life. I don't like the word complain because it sounds like it's whiny and negative. But there are times that we have legitimate complaints, right? There are times that you need to speak up and say something. That's not a bad thing. But we need to learn how to do it, because there's a way that we can complain. So what we need to do, and this is in your workbook, this is under complaining. There's a scripture reference here that I'm not going to get into, but because I think the points stand on their own. But number one, categorize complaints by whether they are useful or useless. Is it useful or is it useless? There are times that we can bring things up and it's going to help the situation. One of the things that we do with Shine, Shine is one of our biggest serving events of the year. We pull in volunteers from all over the place. It's a lot of serving. It's a long conference. People give a ton. The conference couldn't happen without our volunteers every year. And it stretches you in every way to serve at Shine. It's a good stretch. It's great. It's like training for the serving Olympics is what it is. And so, when you get in there and you finish with a good attitude, you're like, I did it. Like, it is an accomplishment when you serve at Shine. It's big, it's good. And so at the end, the truth is, being together with people for 3 days, there's some things, there are occasions to complain that are valid occasions. But you have to make sure, and for that reason, we give an outlet at the end to provide feedback. Feedback is very important. But in the moment, there's times when you have to know that in the moment, complaining isn't going to help. Pointing out what's wrong is not going to help. So something that's useful, a useful complaint is when you take the complaint to someone useful complaint includes situations that are within your circle of influence, right? In your circle of influence. So in other words, I'm just putting this down to the Shine conference because I can relate to this and it's very clear. But if you're serving on guest services at the Shine conference and you notice that every time you show up, the desk is messy and things are not picked up and they're not clean. Okay, a great thing to do is to go to your zone leader and say, I've noticed this. We need to identify the breakdown because this is a problem. People are coming in and they're having to organize before they get started. Legitimate complaint. Your zone leaders or your team leaders in your circle of influence, they are empowered to bring a solution in the moment, right? Great complaint. But a bad way to complain, actually, is to look at the person you're serving with and go, can you believe this? Someone needs to just do their job when they leave at night. I can't even believe, I come in here, I get up, I got to come in here and clean up somebody else's mess too. Now, what has happened to that person? They're just like, yeah. Complaining is contagious. You can just go ahead and write that in down here at the bottom. You skip a blank. Complaining is contagious. And you just send out some spores. And I know that all of us want to be, some of us just, all of us want to be good, in situations like that. We get stressed and we overflow. I had to apologize to someone today about overflowing my stress onto them just before I got here because I knew I was going to talk about this. I didn't want this weighing on my mind. I just called it just in case. I want to repent to you. I'm really sorry. But, you don't want to blow out spores of complaining in a situation. There's already stress. And so this is what submission is. It's not about not identifying the problem and bringing it up. It's about bringing your tongue into submission to the moment. See, that was truth, and very possibly there was grace, but the timing was wrong. The timing wasn't helpful. A useful complaint is when you're going to someone who can bring a solution. Let's direct our complaints and then waiting for the right time to bring that up. Because sometimes When you're serving in the moment, that's not the right time because everyone is stressed and you're working toward a goal. Wait. I've never regretted waiting. Think about that. For the most part, on important things, I've never regretted waiting. Waiting just kind of gives you a chance to distance yourself from the situation. It kind of gives you a chance to let your emotions calm down. Sometimes it gives you a chance to see the bigger picture.